Hello, everyone. We're back with another Sunday episode of Kyle, Ben, and one other person talk about random things. Um, this week we're gonna do some adventure settings and or some map designing and or what'd you call it, Fia? Worldscaping?
Worldscaping.
Yeah, worldscaping. So before we get into that, I'm pretty sure everyone probably knows this by now, but I'm Kyle. With me today is Ben, who is
Hello?
in the middle there, and then Fia is on the bottom. Um,
Hello.
Fia is our lovely third team moderator, so um, we're gonna explore some new things today. We've officially decided to call this dungeon diving because I don't know why we didn't sooner. It's much easier than anything else. But before we get into any of that, can we take a second to talk about Thursday's stream? Um, it blew up in a really big way, and I'm really, really, really happy about it. So thank you guys for watching that. 100 views in 3 days for us is pretty big, so I really appreciate that. Also, 18 followers away from 50 followers and a giveaway.
Yeah, we're really close.
Yeah. So exciting. Big things are bit moderate sized things are happening. There we go. That's a more accurate statement. But nonetheless, excited regardless, and we're excited that the majority of you have been here for that journey. So um, I'm going to let Ben talk a little bit about his project that he's going to share with us today.
All right. So we've had a few people ask in like the Discord, and then just between various places I hang out. It's like, hey, I want to start running D&D, but I want to build my own campaign, kinda. But I also don't know how to start any of that.
Right.
I want to build my own region. I want to make my own situation here, but I don't have any tools. I don't know. Do I have to learn how to make maps? Do I need to what's all the mess that needs to happen? And traditionally, I'm like, don't work harder than you have to on these things, guys. Like, it's very, very simple. There are places online you can very easily go, or honestly just Google like a D&D town map, and you will get a lot of people who make a lot of maps who just randomly will have them about. And then you can, in this case, we have acquired a map from the Cartographers Guild, which is a website online that you can go to go ahead, and they make maps, town maps, region maps, just for fun. Like, this is just what they do all day long. And so we have taken a map from the Cartographers Guild, and we are going to kind of show you how to take it and develop it into a starting town that your party may kind of wander into, or maybe even have grown up in. And chat, if you want, you can toss some ideas up as we go through, and we'll see if we can incorporate those into this town. We're going to flesh out this one here. It's Pepplefen. I took Pepplefen for a couple of reasons. One, I like the name. Rolls off the tongue really adorably. It makes me feel like I don't know, maybe this is a halfling city, like a small little halfling borough, or some other like small folk kind of living situation. Things we know about Pepplefen: one, it's near a fen. A fen is a swampy area, one where monsters may wander around in. There may be some danger lurking on the outskirts of town, beyond the river or beyond the fields here to the south. So we have a nice little beacon of light here in the middle of what could be kind of like a dangerous frontier area. This particular map has various locations listed on it already. Some of these don't. Those will be a little bit harder to kind of build off of, but this one has a few kind of points of interest. It has an alchemy shop in Area 1. So not a thing that normal starting towns tend to just have on hand. So you can kind of throw it up to your players and be like, all right, this town has an alchemy shop that you can visit, and maybe they want parts of monsters, or they want rare ingredients. So you have to wander off into the fen to go find some rare ingredients. Uh, Area 2 is the mill. Not really sure what we want to do with that yet, but it exists. The one piece of the map that really interested me was the wind spring, Area 3. It looks kind of like you would expect like a windmill, but also a helicopter. It's got like weird helicopter propellers that it's using to, I guess, mill the water into the center of town. To me, this screams like weird gnome inventor. But maybe not. Maybe we'll figure it out from there. Maybe Chad has some other ideas of what may kind of run the wind spring.
So yeah, so Jay asked, so then is it wards or warriors that are going to keep the dangers at bay?
Uh, could be both.
That's fair. It's a good.
There could be some magic on hand here in the town that or maybe the town has a very small contingent of various like a town militia, but otherwise like outside of the fields that they try to keep safe, they're hoping that the river is the most safety that they can keep their hands on.
Right.
Now, importantly, since we're talking about what may or may not keep the town safe, there is a shrine to Ileana. I don't know who Ileana is. It might be an exarch of some god. It may have been a local hero who, at one time, drove the evils out into the fens, and they have not really been a problem since until just recently. So we'll have to develop who this Ileana character is, and what her ties to the town might be. The town has an inn. Inns are always good. I don't know who runs the Silver Reed Inn, but again, this is one of those situations where, this is where your party may end up if they're travelers to the inn. Uh,
Um,
our stream lagged for a second.
yeah, you can fix that real quick if you want.
Oh no, it's fine. But so there's that. Now, also, Peppelfen has a community hall where they would all like gather and maybe socialize. There's Warwick's merchant house. Don't know who Warwick is. Maybe we'll find out here as we develop the town. Don't That's weird sounding name. Warwick. So maybe that's some strange person who is not of the town proper, or maybe they've lived here forever. We'll find out shortly. There's a tavern. Taverns are always good. Quest boards hang out at taverns. There's a smith. Ernest the smith lives here. So again, with that on hand, we know that there's a place that your party can go to do alchemy stuff. There's a place that your party can go to buy stuff, and there's a place they can go to get their armor fixed or buy weapons. So the town has kind of the main three things, and then they have Peppelfen Hall, which we already have a community hall. So I'm thinking this might be more like a guild hall. So like if your party is part of a roving guild, maybe this is the guild charter house, or maybe this is a large mansion that isn't currently owned, and the party could maybe have earn it by doing an adventure, and then now your party has like a guild hall to call their own, or like a home base to kind of spread out from.
It's
So now that we have taken a brief tour of the town, are there any? Does Chad have any suggestions on this, or
so
Thea, do you have anything speak out to you, or Kyle?
I see in the chat that somebody said alchemist makes sense because marshes hold a litany of minerals and herbs. I'll just Fair.
Right.
And then there's lots of lore about marshes and mills. Granny Greenteeth. I'm not familiar with that.
I mean that sounds like hag to me. So like a low level like fey hag, or some kind, or if it's like or if somebody's like running the mill, maybe like some kind of a witch or warlock, uh, or some wise elder that kind of runs the mill.
And then uh, Daydreams, which I'm pretty sure is Jay, said could be a hero who claimed to have defeated some greater being that lives out in the fens, but made a deal instead.
So for Ileana,
Yeah.
the town had like a former champion or hero,
Mm-hmm.
and they've built a shrine to her. So she has defended the town from, I don't know, goblins. It says here goblins maybe
Goblins.
at one
Yeah.
point. Like fen goblins have raided the town, and then Ileana uh, pushed them away through her wiles and combats. Maybe rallied the town to defend against the goblin hordes at one point. Broke the back of broke the will of the goblins to continue fighting this area, so they may have moved on.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything jump out to you that looks interesting?
Yep. I mean, Fia, you want to go first?
I'm gonna need a sec.
I think.
Okay.
I think that you mentioned guild halls, and now all I can think of is just turning this town into something that revolves around the Knights Remnant.
Possible. Like that could be a Knights Remnant chapter house.
Could be.
So what is the the makeup of the town proper? Again, like I suggested, maybe halflings. The town has a very halfling sounding name or gnome sounding name, but like what is the original makeup of the town?
Yeah, I don't know. I think halflings are cool, but I almost think it'd be cooler if it was like a town of gnomes. I don't know. Maybe
Gnomes?
maybe a mix of gnomes and halflings.
Maybe. Could get a small folk town.
Yeah.
Where a lot of the stuff is very very like halfling oriented.
Jay said with the water coming inland, they could be blessing the water as a daily, weekly ritual, which keeps some types of creatures away.
That is solid.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's a really good idea.
So the wind spring kind of mills the water into that central area, and then they can whoever's in charge of the priestly designs of this town, like enact a ritual to kind of keep the blessed water flowing.
Right.
That would lead me to believe that there are some. Ooh, a raid.
We got raided.
Yeah.
Hey.
Um.
Thank you guys so much. Bow and Shade. Hey guys. We're doing some not map making, some worldscaping. There we go.
Worldscaping.
It's
like
not-
landscaping, but cooler.
That's definitely better than what I was going to say. But no. So yeah, I think maybe gnomes, halflings. I don't know why I like the idea of goblins living here. I almost
Well, the hero fought we decided the hero fought the goblins and like kind of ran them off, but maybe instead of like running them off, she civilized them a little,
That's fair.
or created some kind of peace treaty.
Could be.
So now you've got like a mix of gnomes and goblins and halflings that kind of live in the town.
Domesticated goblins.
Maybe the goblins run the merchant house. Maybe that's who Warwick is. Warwick is a goblin.
It fits. It's fitting. It sounds goblin-y.
So the merchant house is like staffed by like a bunch of little goblins that go around and like you have to negotiate with the goblins for various wares.
Yeah, that's a good idea. A little battalion of goblins, Jay says. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good idea.
All right, so we've decided this is a little short people, like little small folk town. There are some halflings running around. There's some goblins. Clearly, a gnome is involved somewhere because that wind spring looks like it was developed by a gnome. Maybe the gnome is a priest of some kind of like Gond or something. Their creator god, and this is part of the holy contraption that he has built to mill and bless the water.
The hero store with the guy with the old name.
Yeah.
That's funny that Jay said that because I was actually just about to say it too. I get strong Shire vibes from this map.
Yeah, it's got a very homey feel to it.
Yeah.
So the Silver Reed Inn. So who runs the inn? Like this is where the party, like assuming the party like comes to town very first, they always hit up the inn.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where they usually go first. So who runs the inn? Are we gonna keep to the small folk plan, or is this gonna be like we got a little different? You want a spin on this particular house?
I don't think that it should be. I don't think it should be a half folk. I think it should be a.
I know, chat. You got any ideas?
Yeah, I mean, we're all about getting ideas from the chat right now. That's literally what we're here for today. So,
right.
If you guys are hanging out, give us some ideas.
Count on you guys, chat. Throw us up a handful of races that could own the inn, and then we'll pick the best looking one.
Thirdsies. They're stuck on the second breakfast references.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I like the goblin halfling couple idea.
A goblin halfling couple.
That's sweet.
Seems good.
Steph, do you have ideas? I see you in here. Who could run this inn?
Goblin halfling couple's pretty strong. I want the goblin to be running the kitchen.
I don't know. Yeti.
We don't know either.
I don't know. Yeah. I just joined. Okay. So you just joined. We're trying to come up with we're worldscaping and we're trying to come up with an idea of a race other than like a halfling or a gnome that could run an inn. A half orc raised by halflings.
I like that one too.
Goblin chef. It's a goblin that took the chef feat. A mouse folk.
Also solid.
Yeah.
All right. I like this. So here we'll combine these a little bit.
Okay.
So the owner and proprietor, a mouse folk. He's not seen very often. Because he's got like a little hidey hole like somewhere by the fireplace that he likes to like hang out. That's where his office is. Somewhere over there. But then we've got like the goblin halfling couple or like the wait staff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the half orc raised by halflings does all the cooking in the back.
Gotcha. I like it. I do.
So we've got like a nice little quad group kind of runs the inn.
Yeti said, "Oh my God, he's called by some really dark nickname that scares people, and then he comes out and people are like, oh my God, it's him."
Right. Like whenever like everyone's kind of sitting there and then like this shadow like goes across the wall and everyone's like, oh, and then you look and by the fireplace is this short little mouse folk that's like standing backlit by the fire that causes the shadow to like grace the other wall, all creepy.
I love the idea that it's a
Um,
mafia style thing.
Yeah, I do too. I was definitely
But
picturing.
it's just a nice family run restaurant, but they treat it like
Right.
it's a mafia.
Yeah, he's
Right.
he's just Robert De Niro. Yeah, I like it. I do. Just
All right. So we've got the inn covered. We're good there. All right. So let's go back to the alchemy shop real quick. It's Fenwater Flask Alchemy Shop. So
Okay.
who is this Fenwater person?
it's
And or who runs this alchemy shop?
that's
It again does not have to be a halfling, a gnome, or a goblin. We've mined into those as a base for the community. But if you want to, that's fine. But like, do we want to diversify this town a little bit more? Is there any particular what weirdo runs the alchemy shop?
ooh.
Fenwater is the equivalent of like bog water, right? So what if
Yes.
it's a druid that's just really into swamps?
So it's
Okay.
it's Shrek.
It's
It's
So a
Shrek.
tiefling has been suggested. So how about a tiefling druid? That's all into like the creepy side of nature. Wants you to gather all the slimy things.
Ugh.
Just they're like the alchemy shop is just like bottles of like weird liquids and bugs and all kinds of stuff that they use to make their strange concoctions.
There's something in the corner that definitely looks like an eyeball, but you can't say for certain.
Right.
Is it a tiefling that has a human druid wife? Why do all these people have to be married?
We're building
This is a
community.
retirement town. This is where you settle
Yeah.
down. This is the Florida of D&D.
Oh God,
Wait, hold on.
No.
No, I don't know about that one.
it's the
Yeah, how about that? All right, so we've got a cute. Either we have an interesting tiefling druid running the alchemy shop, being all like, "Give me your slimy things," and we've already got like the weird like mafia style group running the tavern. We've decided some goblins are running the merchant house. So we've got the tavern, the coin well spent tavern. Now this is like the local watering hole of sorts. So who's the owner and proprietor of the coin well spent tavern? Chat, you got any suggestions for us?
it's a half dragon.
Is it some
Yeah.
dragonborn?
Better yet, no. It's a kobold that thinks he's a dragon.
Okay, well, in keeping with the short folk, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got a kobold who's running the tavern. What's his name? What's this kobold's name?
Trex. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Um,
not Trick is busy. He's in Iceland Dale, causing all kinds of problems.
I hear Trex, and now all I can think of is X names.
It is a very cutesy village, so perhaps something that's uncharacteristically cutesy.
Right. We need an uncharacteristically cutesy name for a kobold that runs a tavern.
Bobbert.
Bobbert.
Bobbert. Jay said Bobbert.
All I can think of when I hear Bobbert is Bobbert and Fraud from Dimension 20.
That's.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Gosh.
Martle.
Martle's
fun.
Martle?
Martle
that-
strikes me as a Myrtle variant. I like it.
I don't know. It's. It doesn't feel fitting for a kobold. I don't know.
You got any you got any like hard S sounding names, chat?
Yeah. Something.
Something with a few more consonants in it. That can be said with like a lizard folk-esque mouth.
Foodlorble? Foodlorble? Is that what that? Foodlorble? I can't. I don't know.
I think
That sounds Welsh.
that's close enough.
That sounds very Cold War-esque to me. I don't know. Sounds like
I don't know.
Sounds like a Russian baby.
How about we instead of Martle, how about Sartle?
Sartle. Yeah, Sartle.
We'll put an S on that.
Cillian?
Ooh.
Cillian's good.
Cillian is good.
All right, so we've got our tavern owner. Now we've already got a name for the smith. It's Arnis the Smith. Mm-hmm. So who is Arnis? Now Arnis feels very dwarven to me, but I could be wrong.
Could Arnis also be a Goliath?
Oh, that'd be very uncharacteristic for the town. I like that. He's just so tall.
Yeah.
There's no business being in this small piece of town.
I like it. Arnis is a Goliath.
Sure.
Yeah. He can't like characteristically he has to stoop through every doorway he goes through. Or crawl because it's a town for small folk.
Right, like all the doors come up to like his waist.
Yeah. Yeah. They have to. He can't even go inside the tavern. They just have to. He has to send a gnome in to get his drinks and then bring it out.
I thought they have like a side, like they built like one of those big like floor to ceiling like sliding doors, like a barn, like a side barn door, for when he wants in.
There's like newcomers into newcomers into the town, like halflings, and they hear the ground shaking, like across the street from the tavern, and they all think it's like an earthquake or a dragon, and then this Goliath just opens this giant sliding barn door in the side of the tavern and walks in.
Right.
Yeah, it's great.
So we've got a pretty good grasp on this eclectic little halfling, gnome, goblin village that also has like a random mouse folk and a tiefling and a Goliath just kind of wandering around in it. Half orc in the back of the tavern slinging food, or at the inn. So what? We live in a fen. Like this pebble fen. So there's a fen that exists here. Now clearly there were goblins at one point, but we have since domesticated them, joined them into the fold. What kind of we're gonna develop a dungeon for our adventuring party to go out and crawl. So chat, there's a bunch of you in here. Can you give me just a top level, is this dungeon that we're dealing with like an aberration problem? Is there maybe an elemental problem, a fae problem, an undead problem? Maybe some kind of fiend. What's the problem that besets this ideal little town that we can kind of like build our dungeon around?
Do you want that slide?
Not yet.
Okay. I was gonna say. Could be bandits that are getting ready to raid the town.
Okay, so just local bandits. Now these are a mix of your standard humanoid races. So that's in keeping with your basic plans. Now, bandits have a lair, which will be our dungeon crawl. So bandits are doable. Do we have any other suggestions, chat, that might help us? A hag necromancer. Ooh, now we're talking.
Jeez.
Because that gets you some fae stuff, because hags are fae creatures, and then also you get to pepper in some undead, so that's not bad. That's not a bad thing to work with. Now, as far as hags go, we've got the green hag is a CR3, so our adventuring party would have to be maybe a little higher level if we're gonna go straight into like that being the boss. But the sea hag, which is close, is a CR2. So we could build a dungeon around maybe like a sea hag. Now, fens, as we know, are kind of like swamps, but they're saltwater. So we're near the sea in a way, if there's some salt water involved. So a sea hag is not out of sorts for this particular adventure. So with I like sea hag, and maybe even necromancer could be helpful for our dungeon. So Kyle, let's slide over to our dungeon map.
Cool.
Now that we've kind of developed Templefen and figured out what our problem is.
I can do that, I think.
Again, if you're a starting DM and are looking for like some dungeon ideas, lots of people develop dungeon maps. They are very easy to use. This particular one that Kyle will eventually be sliding over to.
It's right there.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, it hasn't come up on my screen yet. All right. Anyway,
thanks to OBS, things run much smoother.
Run much smoother.
Yeah.
All right. So there it is. Yes. All right. So this is a isometric dungeon map. Very simple design. This is made by Elven Tower. If you Google Elven Tower, you can see all the maps that they make and the various adventures that they sometimes attach to them. But again, this is a very simple dungeon design. You could arguably say it's kind of on rails for like a low-level party because there's not a lot of choice points to make along the way. It's mostly just let's go down to the bottom of the dungeon. But it's very clean and simple. We can do a lot with it. You'll notice that there are. It looks like it used to maybe have been a tomb of some kind. Maybe the sea hag that we are building for this has decided to call this their new home. Maybe this was a tomb designed for something else.
Okay.
And the sea hag necromancer has made it her home and decided that the tomb's current inhabitants now need to be her necromized like minions. So she moved in. She was like, "Oh, it's like a bunch of dead bodies. Now I got minions," kind of situation. Or maybe this is a trap where she was sealed away a long time ago, and some recent calamity has allowed a little bit of her various power to seep out, or her monsters to seep out. Maybe she is locked further. Oh, maybe this is the tomb of Ileana. I like that. Maybe this was the tomb that was built a long time ago to house the city's hero, and the green hag, or the sea hag has moved in and is kind of desecrating it a little bit by making it her home.
I like it. I think it's good.
If you'll notice here, we have a very simple dungeon design. It's got the first room's got what looks to be either some coffins up top or some treasure. Maybe those are treasure chests, or other storage compartments for like various, I don't know, like burial paraphernalia. So what's the first issue that the party's going to run across when they get here? I see 3 doors, a set of double doors probably locked, and I see 2 large chest-looking things that may be sarcophagi or maybe storage material. So maybe those are trapped. Maybe those are trapped chests for tomb robbers, because they pop in, and the traps for the tomb robbers. So
Makes a raised Liliana for a mini boss.
yeah, I mean, also could do that. When you get to the bottom, you could have the hag and a raised former champion of the city as the end fight. But we're not at the end yet. So at the top here, we've got like a set of locked doors.
Mm-hmm.
We've decided that at least one of these two sarcophagi up top trapped. Maybe the other has again something you can add to stuff for you starting DMs out there who are like, hey, I don't know how to put treasure in my dungeon. Use the trinket table in the player's handbook for your treasure early on. There's a lot of weird stuff in there. Your players will not find gold super exciting because they can't do anything with it, but they will totally find a weird crystal orb that is carved with crazy arcane runes that maybe have here, like one of the trinkets from the adventure book is a glass orb carved with strange alchemical runes on it in some recipe that is unknown. You know who might like that? I'm gonna bet that a creepy warlock at an alchemy house would love to have that come home to her at some point.
Yeah.
So now you've created a cool treasure that they can now barter in town with the local NPCs. And all it was something from the trinket table, right? Like, you didn't have to do a lot of crazy stuff in that regard.
Yeah.
You just had to roll on the trinket table and spawn you some cool stuff. So that's the first floor. We've got one trapped sarcophagi, one that maybe has, I don't know, like 3 or 4 trinkets in it, and maybe some like burial supplies.
I like Jay said, the middle doors on the first level are magically sealed. I think that's a good idea.
Okay. So how do you get past them if they're magically sealed? Is there do you have to use the trinkets to complete a puzzle?
Yes.
Of some kind, maybe?
Yeah.
And then using those trinkets will effectively be a key. Because if it's magically sealed, I doubt like low-level characters will be able to brute force it, right?
Exactly.
Like no one, like you're not gonna. I mean, you might have somebody with knock, but maybe not, and maybe like dispel magic might be a little past them. So.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I would make it the doors magically sealed, and make it so that the items that they find are keys to open the door.
Okay, that's a good kind of puzzle early on, like a simple puzzle.
Or perhaps the key to opening the door is like a key phrase that they have to figure out by piecing together the trinkets that they find.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this just
in some like riddle?
Now?
I like that. I like maybe the trinkets have like bits of a phrase or a lamentation or something carved into them that they can then piece together like a sentence, that they have to say in the right order. With that though, maybe clues. I don't know how you'd clue them into that. Or maybe the words are missing off of like a thing written above the door that you'd have to kind of fit in. And if you know more about the history of Ileana and how she did what she did, that would help put the words in the right places. That would be a fun, I think.
Yeah.
Like a fun mini puzzle that you could do together.
Yeah.
And so that opens you up to the middle area, right? And this is where we're going to run into like our first combat, I think, because I see 6 sarcophagi here. Those probably have something in them. How does chat feel about what's in the sarcophagi. We're probably dealing with undead, right? At this point, because we've kind of settled on necromancer of some like our. So what?
I think that
Like,
while
we
there
could-
should be probably some combat there, I don't think all 6 sarcophagi should be full. I think on the off chance
Well,
that you
I would bet that the number, like what kind of monster is in them, would determine how many. Like if it was skeletons, like sure, 6 skeletons isn't that big of a deal, right? Like you could deal with 6 skeletons in a combat, but what if they're not skeletons? What if we move up the range? What if they're shadows, or some kind of other strange undead?
This is less to do with the combat, I suppose, and more to do with the story behind the 6 sarcophagi. Maybe they were a group of heroes that Ileana led into battle.
That's good.
I like that. And I see to the left when you come down the stairs, there's this room with all these crumbly rock in it. Maybe that was at one time a tablet that told the story. So the party could arguably.
Are those rocks or bones? They look like bones.
I think it's just rubble.
Is it? Okay.
It looks like rubble to me.
I don't know if I would do that. I would maybe say that that's like a trap area. Like you go in, and it's just a spiked room, a room filled with spikes or something. Just like as a detour. And then when you go down the other way...
My question is, why would you go to it, though?
I mean, because you're an adventurer, exhausting...
Looks like a pile of rubble and then falls into spikes. Like, is that something that would lure a party into that room?
I mean, if there's a closed door there... like
there isn't. It's, there's no door.
Oh, there's no door. Okay.
No. That's just a...
I don't know. I'd put some fake...
Oh, we got a suggestion here that trap has already been set off, maybe by the hag when she was exploring originally.
Yeah, that's fair. I like that.
So maybe there was something there, lore-wise, and that while exploring, the hag set off the trap, which broke the piece of lore.
Yeah, no, I like that. I do.
But that's good. So now what you could have had was a very easy, go up to the tablet and read it and know, because we're probably going to want to know that lore for when we get to the bottom.
Right.
Like when we're dealing with the undead champion, right?
Yeah.
So now the party has to piece together the lore again so they can figure out what's going on.
I like it.
Yeah.
And maybe if they, take that detour and learn some lore, maybe that will make it less problematic when they go to fight, when they get into the fight, because they'll know the 6 champions. Okay. And maybe knowing them, if you call them out by name or something, it will confuse them and grant them disadvantage on attacks against you or something.
Fair
so
enough.
That's an interesting combat perk that you would get for going out of your way to explore the lore of the dungeon.
Okay. So, where does this other door go?
What other door?
The door to the left, on the far left of that hall. What is in that room?
The one that's got the circle, the secret circle behind it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is an actual door. That's not a doorway. I see a double door there.
Okay.
And so the hallway ends at that double door, which probably may not open until you solve the combat problem. Right?
Of course.
And then you can open the door. Now, this is an interesting thing on the other side of this door. This is a weird rune-shaped floor pattern, 4 jugs. This screams puzzle to me, right?
Yeah, I get heavy, like, Breath of the Wild vibes from this again. This is like the 3rd time I've had Breath of the Wild themed things going on in like the last 2 months.
Right. So was this a like last line of defense to keep people out from like tomb robbing the tomb, and like the hag being an arcane wizard that she is like kind of figured her way around that and kind of moved on, or is this a trap that has been set by the hag, some kind of arcane ward to keep out those who would cause her problems?
I like that. Now, I would go 2 separate ways with this. Jay said it lights up when you step on it. You got to do the right thing or it will teleport you outside. I like both of those as separate things. I like the idea of, like, they go through here and they step on that platform and it lights up and they're terrified and it does nothing.
What if you're not, maybe you have to, like, when you enter, I see that there's 4 jugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if, when you enter, if you maybe have to make an offering of some kind to one of the jugs, and if you don't, maybe a curse will befall you?
I like it. Yeah, that's good.
Or something, because, like, transporting you out of the dungeon is less problematic because you can always just walk back in. Right? And
Right.
I see, like, transports you somewhere worse. Well, we've already, like, this is the map that we're kind of working with at the moment. So, like, transporting them out of the dungeon would kind of take them out of the adventure that they're currently on. So I don't know, maybe like a curse or a different kind of magical trap that can be, I don't know if if the party's wizard. Ooh, here's something about the puzzle of the jug. What do we got here?
So the
puzzle of the jug. Succeed and you get a free long rest. Ooh, free long rest.
Without any time
Or
passing.
for a level of exhaustion if you fail. Now that's nice. I like that.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion.
Again, with these jugs, there are 4 of them. We could easily divvy that up into, like, the 4 elements. Maybe if you want to do like that, or if you've got some kind of, if we could build some more lore around Ileana, maybe she was I don't know, maybe she was a monk, like one of those, like, Way of the 4 Elements monks or whatever.
Maybe she made, like, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Maybe she made, like, 4 commandments that are, like, law of the town.
I like that. So how do we tie that into the jugs? I like where we're going here.
Good question.
Do you have to deposit something in the jug representing the commandment, or do you have to, like, pour, or are they filled with, like, sacred water from the town? Because the town makes holy water. Like, this is what they do. So maybe the jugs are filled with, like, sacred water, and you have to, like, pour a little bit out in each of the 4 corners of the circle to kind of, like, to prevent the curse.
Like at the exact same time. Yeah.
Yeah, like a team effort.
Yeah. I like that. Shadowrun Adept said her 4 children each represented something.
Oh, so she had 4 kids at some point?
Yeah. That's a good idea.
That would be something that you might have learned from the lore tablet that's broken on the other end of the hallway.
Right.
So we've got some deep lore there that kind of helps you solve the next puzzle on the other side of the double doors. I like that. That's good. So now we've kind of worked on the end of the puzzle. Now it's the step. Now here at the bottom floor, right? We've got the main sarcophagi off to the when you come down the stairs off to the left, and then to the right, you've got this weird treasure sarcophagus looking thing. Now, I personally like the idea of the that dotted line boxed area that kind of represents the hallway.
Yes.
Maybe there's some kind of mystical ward in there that prevents you from going toward the treasure side. Whether the hag put that there, maybe that's her like personal treasure that she has moved into the dungeon, and that's like where she's keeping it safe.
Right.
And you have to deal with her and like a reanimated Ileana on the other side.
Yeah. I like that.
Or maybe that's some kind of sacred treasure to Ileana, and you can't get to it unless you free her soul from being a reanimated.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
Like maybe like in her grief of being reanimated, she sealed that off so the hag can't get to it.
I like that Jay said a hallway that keeps getting longer as you walk. So like the longer you walk down, it's just it's just a never-ending loop of hallway.
That or the next one, like a dotted block, is an immovable stone. You can't move it until you defeat Ileana.
Yeah. Both are good.
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think to counteract the advantage of getting a free long rest, or a potentially free long rest in the prior room, you could probably add a bit of a challenge with movement to the combat. Like, say the floor here is partially flooded, because that's the Sea Witch's preference.
Right. Well, and it's a fen. Like, there's swamp water. Like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
So, like, it's all difficult terrain down here?
Yeah.
And maybe if you wanted, you could, like, introduce, some, like, CR 1/8 fish? There's some kippers or something, right? Like, that's a thing.
Yeah.
You could do, I don't want to put a giant crab down here. We're already fighting a sea hag. The sea hag could have a giant crab?
No, I was referring to the chat. Somebody suggested that the chamber could flood.
Oh, yeah. Like the hag could trigger that?
Yeah.
Because she's at home in it and the party isn't?
That's a good idea, too. I like it.
It makes the combat a little bit more dynamic in that regard. So yeah, we've got a nice little dungeon developed here, a fun town to deal with. Now, importantly, so when you get to the end, you beat the monster, right? Mm-hmm. So like, what is the treasure? Are we just gonna be like, is it like Ileana's like chosen weapon?
No,
or is it something cooler?
Maybe it's like weapons of the party that she had led.
I think it should be like a small cauldron-sized fountain that just continuously makes like holy water or something.
But the town already has something that cranks out holy water.
Well, that's fair.
You don't want to like co-op some like the one of the main features of the town. A helmet of goblin commanding.
I don't know how friendly the town's going to be to you after that.
Yeah. Hey, half or third of the town, we have brought back an item that effectively enslaves you. Like, maybe you should put that back where you found it.
Yeah. God, I don't know. Maybe it's just
It's a scroll that says the friends you made along the way.
Something like that. Just a book. It's a book. I don't know.
Maybe it's something that could initiate another encounter by leading you to another dungeon of sorts.
You know what it is?
Or another area.
Here's an idea. The wall, like the L-shaped wall behind the sarcophagus where her body is.
Yes.
It's one of those sculpted murals of the story of her and her adventurers.
Okay.
And then the item is like a small tablet, and if you go up and you look at this mural and you investigate the wall, you'll find a slot to shove that tablet in, and it opens a hidden door in the mural.
Like a hidden closet back there?
Yeah. And then you'll find, well, I guess it really depends on what you want to do. You could either find like another part of the dungeon to go explore, or you could just open it and find treasure.
Sure. I like the idea of an item that kind of propels the party to a different thing. So, like, maybe Ileana's journal.
Yeah.
That talks
Unfinished
about
mission.
Right, like she went out into the fen to like deal with the goblins, but like maybe she found another ancient ruin out there somewhere that she never told anyone about because, you know, she just was busy dealing with, well, I've domesticated some goblins now, I have to run a town, kind of situation, or maybe, I don't know, but no, that's good. I like a good hook to another area. But yeah, I think this is a good place for a starter. We've got a cute town.
Yeah.
An eclectic mix of various humanoids that kind of wander around it. You can kind of make a good, you know, like a good start with it. The party could either be from the town or come to the town. We've got a guild hall here that they could kind of potentially be part of. If like you said, Kyle, like if it's a Knights Remnant like guild chapter, they could be like, and this is now your assigned home situation. And just kind of deal with that. You've got, you know, I like the idea of a town that has a bunch of goblins in it that just kind of help run the town. And we've got a fun dungeon with a good starting boss to deal with, and a good hook maybe to other places in the area.
Yeah, I like it. It's all good stuff.
And again, we did this with 2 maps.
Yep.
One of which was labeled.
We did this with 2 maps and in less than an hour, or in an hour exactly.
Yeah, an hour, 2 maps, and you know, and 10 labels that were on the first map. We have created a nice little intro beginning area for us to kind of branch out from.
Right. I think this was fun. It was super fun, super easy. So any beginning DM could pick this up.
Right. And again, for all of you beginning DMs who may be watching this, if you would like to run this adventure, go for it. Yeah. All of the monsters that we managed to call up are all like basic rules monsters. Yeah. So they're, you know, you can just get them in the free basic rules.
Yep.
You know, you get your undead, get your hag, just figure out how you want to deal with the traps, all the items that you would use for like the items table in the player's handbook for your trinket items. And just run like a nice little party of 4 through this. I think they'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah. On that note, we're probably going to go ahead and stop for today. But since we've got our maps and dungeons made, thank you, chat. What's
right. As a reminder to those of you in the chat who are not following, in case there are any, please follow. I think according to this, 18 18 followers away from our goal of 50 followers. When we hit 50, we're giving away some free dice to one of you. So, if you're not already following, make that happen. You can get yourself some free dice.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to read a comment. But yeah, no, that's a huge step up. I think like our video from Thursday is like at 100 views. We've doubled our followers in like this week. So thank you guys so much for all of that. Tuesday, we have our next campaign adventure for Princes of the Apocalypse at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then Thursday, we will be jumping back into the adventures of the Knights Remnant and all of the shenanigans that they're going to get up to in their next episode.
At some point in the near future, once Kyle and I work it out, we're going to have like a string of like learner one-shots for people who are kind of wanting to dip their toe into D&D, or maybe haven't done a lot of playing but want to get in on some like early. We're going to be doing stuff similar to what we did today, except as adventures for you people. So if you're interested in any of that, let us know so we know kind of how many people are interested in that, so we can kind of plan accordingly.
Yeah. Should be a lot of fun, I think. Especially if you're not familiar with the mechanics of D&D, it'll be a fun learning experience. So.
Right. I've already got like a stable of like pre-gen characters to hand out, and I've a few like fun mini games to help equip them and stuff. So.
Right. All right. Well, we're gonna go. Thank you guys again so much for your support and for watching today, hanging out with us. I don't know if Bo and Shade's still in here. Thank you guys so much for rating us today. That's awesome. So we're gonna go. You guys have a good one, and we'll see you Tuesday and Thursday. Have a good one.
See ya.